With our breaking news, the judge in the Sean Diddy Combs trial has just rather shockingly denied him bail. This, of course, coming after the news that the jury convicted him of 2 of the lesser charges in the government's case against him, finding him not guilty of the 3 biggest and most consequential charges. Do we have Elizabeth Wagmeister yet? Okay, so let's get straight to CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who's outside the court, along with Laura Coates. Laura, this is a surprising development. What are we learning? What are the judge's reasons for not letting him out?
Well, we are still learning all the reasons why the judge has denied bail to Sean Diddy Combs pending his sentencing. That can be an indication of a number of things. Remember, the prosecution is intending to ask for jail time in this matter. Each of those charges could provide 10 years in prison. The sentencing guidelines will obviously dictate to what extent that will be followed. Those are the maximum. It is the ceiling, not the floor. But given the number of offenses he has failed to have in the past and the corresponding ways in which you judge someone's category that they're in for the ultimate decision of sentencing, it could be far less than that. I will say, of course, that the judge, by making this statement, essentially is giving a bit of a heads up that perhaps jail time is in fact what he will actually hand down to Sean Diddy Combs when the sentencing does in fact occur. I will also say that this indicates that the judge believed that there were no conditions of release that could have been met that would have satisfied the court in terms of whatever pending threat there may have been to society or the witnesses or victims in this case, as alleged, and that the conditions of release, including a passport being removed, no access to a flight, living in places other than New York, all these things could have been a part of it. You have additional information as well in terms of the why.
You know, we don't have the why quite yet. We are waiting from our team inside the courtroom, but when you said that part of the reason why could be that the judge perhaps believes that Combs could be a threat to society or the other witnesses, it reminded me of a letter that Cassie Ventura's attorney submitted just hours ago opposing him being released on bail. Jake, I want to read you a quote from his letter. It says, quote, "Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself, as well as to the community." Now, before this trial began, Laura, we remember that there were 3 attempts at bail from Combs's defense, all of which were denied by 3 different judges, one of them being the judge who is overseeing this case. Now, part of the reasons why the prosecution had alleged that he was tampering with witnesses, that he was trying to manipulate witnesses from behind bars, the prosecution had said at one point that Sean Combs was paying inmates at the MDC to use their phones in jail. So that was one of the reasons why the judge denied bail before the trial, as he was awaiting this trial. But again, we don't know the reasons yet.
A perfect segue here, Jake, as well, because we're learning that the judge says this on the bench, essentially that he had denied bail when it wasn't mandatory before the trial, and, quote, sees no reason to reach the opposite conclusion now. He's also quoting the defense at different instances when Combs' own lawyers acknowledged his violence towards his former girlfriends during the trial, saying at trial the defense conceded defendant's violence in personal relationships, saying it happened in relation to Cassie Ventura and Jane. This is very important because, remember, one of the things that was said in the opening statement by Tenny Garagos is that they own the violence, that they admitted to what was seen in that now infamous exclusive video obtained by CNN for the Intercontinental Hotel, where there was a savage assault against Cassie Ventura. And of course the defense, the prosecution during trial said, well, domestic violence is not a defense of sex trafficking. Well, he wasn't convicted on that, but you can better believe that the notice from Cassie's attorney and others probably weighed very heavily on this judge's mind.
All right, welcome to Ace Honest Takes. I'm your host, Ace, and this is kind of big. I thought that Diddy possibly could have, went home today at some point, possibly, I don't know. And because some of the bigger charges that he ended up having, he ended up getting dropped. They still had like some 2 smaller ones from my understanding. But he's still facing possibly 20 years, and I think with the judge denying bail, that he's still going to be sitting down for a little while longer. I don't know how long. Could be 5, could be 10, could be the whole 20. I don't know. I don't know if you guys were the judge. Like, what would you put? Like, what would you give Diddy as far as time? Would you give him, just 20 years probation like they did Young Thug in Atlanta, or would you actually give him, 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. Put it in the comments. Also, like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video as well. But I don't know. I honestly probably would give him 5 years in jail, and then 5 years of probation after he get out. Roughly, some people don't look at probation as a slap on the wrist, which it is in a situation like this. But at the same time, you can do one wrong thing and then you end up doing that whole time as well, right? So no more baby oils and all kind of parties and freak offs and everything else for Diddy as of right now. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all would think, what y'all would do. Tell me what you think. Put it down in the
And Elizabeth, you spoke with
section.
Cassie's attorney. We're going to bring some of that interview later in the show. But it has to be pretty difficult for someone like Cassie, who came forward to tell her story, to tell it in such a graphic and revealing and vulnerable way, and then have a jury of her peers basically say, we don't believe you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, Jake, so I know that we are going to get more of this interview a bit later in the show, but I will tell you that her attorney, Douglas Ligdor, did tell me that he believes that the jury actually did believe Cassie and did believe her core allegations, just that the burden is very high for these federal crimes, and that he believes that the jury ultimately did not see a way to meet this charge because, again, that the jury did not believe that the prosecutors met their burden of proof, but that he does believe that Cassie was believed. He also said that Cassie is very proud of herself. This was traumatic for her to testify, but it was also cathartic. She can now move on. We know that she is a mother of 3, a newborn at home. She was 8 months pregnant, testifying in this trial, had her 3rd child shortly after she got off the stand. So she's really focused on family. Her attorney told me that she has a great support system, not just her family, but also she is in therapy. She has great resources now, and he said, you never heal from this. It'll take a lifetime to heal, but she's well into that process. So it sounds like she is doing okay. Her attorney actually told me, don't worry about Cassie.
Stacey, in denying bail, the judge quoted the defense at different instances in the trial when Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers acknowledged his acts of violence towards former girlfriends during the trial. And to be clear, this was not a domestic violence case. So their acknowledgement of that, especially when there was video of him beating up Cassie Ventura, was an attempt to get ahead of that judgment. What do you make of the judge's reasoning? Essentially, he's been violent to these women before. I see no reason why he wouldn't do it again.
Well, I think the judge can't unhear the testimony that he heard in the trial, and also the judge pointed out that the defense attorneys during the trial admitted that their client was violent and had issues and problems and flaws, and that these were terrible situations. But again, the defense was saying it was domestic violence. I think the judge could have gone the other way here because the jury did acquit him of the racketeering and the sex trafficking counts, which would involve alleged acts of violence. And the jury found that he wasn't guilty of any of that. He was just found guilty of transporting individuals across state lines to engage in prostitution.
Yeah, like for me as well, that's kind of shocking as well, because I thought if he got off on the bigger things, then, everything else wouldn't really matter as much. Now, of course, you can still get time for those things as well. But once the racketeering and the RICO, situation kind of got like moved out of the way and thrown out, I felt like I don't understand how he's not home. But, let's see what she says.
So what is his risk to the community on that? The problem is, I think Cassie Ventura's letter might have had an effect on the judge. The judge feels that he needs to protect the community from Sean Combs. But in the end, Sean Combs might not get that steep of a sentence out of his conviction, and he'll eventually be released from jail with credit for the 10 months he's already done in, and he'll be back out in the community after the case. I can't imagine a defendant who's just gone through a trial like Sean Combs went through, where everything that happened behind closed doors was now exposed to the nation, and it was a heinous exposure, that he wouldn't be on best behavior, not even to get a traffic infraction,
right,
if he was
exactly.
released on bail. So I'm a little bit surprised that the judge didn't give him some leeway. So now he'll remain at the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Luigi Mangione is also housed.
And Joey, the judge also said there was violence and illegal conduct after the searches on Sean Diddy Combs' homes. When he was aware he was under investigation, the judge saying, quote, "This highlights a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence," unquote. Is that a common reason to deny bail?
So there's two ways of looking at this, Jake. The first way is that clearly there's a changed circumstance here. There's no way out of that fact. The fact is that initially when bail was imposed and when he was going through that is Mr. Combs, the iterations of the first time, then the second time he appealed, 3 different times, judge saying no, he was facing life in jail. He was facing a minimum of 15 years with respect to sex trafficking. That now has not happened. And so what we're looking at is a different universe. And so looking at it from that perspective, you can look at it from 2 reasons. Number one, is he a flight risk? Would he really be a flight risk under these circumstances where his passport's taken, he knows he's facing sentencing, you can put in conditions to ensure his return? And number 2, is he now a danger to the community wherein if he did anything wrong, it would be factored into the sentencing? Resoundingly no. That's the first argument. The second thing is, listen, the fact is he was convicted of 2 felonies. So let's look at the prosecution briefly. The fact is that based upon those 2 felonies, prostitution, transportation to engage in prostitution, you're facing up to 10 years. Now, his guideline range, which is legal speak for, the federal government calculates various things with respect to the nature of the offense, the characteristics of the defendant, etc., is from 21 months to 27 months. That's 2 years and 3 months. The judge could be given the indication, right, we don't know, that, hey, he's going to keep him in jail for some period of time. What that period of time is, we don't know, but it could very well be the guideline sentence. And so maybe the judge says, if I let him out, I'm just going to put him back in anyway. I'm speculating, but there's 2 ways to slice this, Jake.
You see this?
Oh, man. I don't know, man. What y'all think, man? You know, if you were the judge, like I said, what would you do? Before we even get to there, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. If you're the judge, like I said, I don't know. I probably would give him 5 years in jail. He'll probably do somewhere around like 3.5, and then, you know, just give him a slap on the wrist, which would be the probation, and that'll make up your 10 years, right? So as soon as he get out. I don't know, man. Y'all tell me. Y'all please put in the comments. I really want to hear what your thoughts are. You know, do you feel like this was egregious? Do you feel like, you know, he deserved the whole 20 years that the judge can give him? Do he deserve any time at all? I just want to hear from y'all. Like I said, I didn't give y'all what my thoughts are. 5 years in, and he do 3.5. As soon as he get out, give him 5 years probation. He out of there. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Hey, well, once again, this is Ace Honest Takes. I'm your host, Ace. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video and help us help the channel. I definitely do appreciate everyone that has subscribed, everyone else that has also liked the video and shared the video as well. Let's grow this channel, and I'm out. Peace.